Good morning, everyone. This is our November safety video for 2021, and we're going to have a pretty long session this morning, but that's because we have a lot to cover. As you can see, our safety topic is the basics of personal protective equipment. We're doing something different after this video as well. We will have a quiz. That's right, you must pay attention because if you do not watch this all the way through, you will not be able to answer the quiz, which is required to get credit for your attendance. So let's get started. As you know, we were hoping to start having in-person meetings again, but this has not come to fruition. But when we do, I'm certain we are all looking to have Dennis Murr with Corporate Chaplains America to present for us again. Although he's not here on this video, Dennis is still working and he's still available. If you need someone to talk to, you need some prayers, maybe some personal guidance, or you just want to talk and chat, Dennis won't mind. Matter of fact, he will enjoy your call. You can contact Dennis at 1-877-322-2427, extension 4479, or via email at dmurr@chaplain.org. Today's agenda is pretty straightforward, but it's going to take us a little while to get through everything. We're going to cover our incidents and injury summary. We're going to do our safety analytics, including our safety audits and driving scores. As a matter of fact, I'm also going to give out announce the third quarter driving awards. I'm going to cover our safety topic. Mary's going to cover a couple of items for about 10 minutes, and then we will have our typical before we depart. This month, since our last meeting, we have only had one incident. Unfortunately, it was a water damage incident where we struck a sprinkler head because we didn't move it out of the way as we were going down, like we moved it out of the way when we were going up. One of the biggest things is we had materials in the way, and that's why he had to extend out and kind of move the sprinkler head. Sometimes it's best to step back and have somebody else move their materials so that we can work safely and ensure that we don't have a water damage incident. Luckily, in this particular case, it was very minor. We were able to quickly turn off the water, so we didn't sustain a whole lot of damage. Good job so far. Let's keep that up, guys. Now, for our safety audits, our overall score went down pretty significantly, I might add. Now, part of this is because we've only done 29 inspections since our last meeting, but the majority of this failure or this drop, we found 10 specific safety audit violations during those 29 inspections. Guys, plain and simply stated, that's not good. We went from 99.17% safe down to 96.93% safe. And unfortunately, when you start seeing drops like that, that's when your chances for incidents go up, and we don't want that. Stated, we had 10 specific unsafe acts or conditions on our job sites. We had 4 jobs with workers not wearing safety glasses and 2 jobs where workers were not wearing gloves. Venture policy states if your hands or eyes are in harm's way, you must wear gloves or glasses respectively. These 6 findings are the reason we're covering the basics of PPE as our safety topic today. Understand this, PPE is not optional. It is for your protection. You will wear it or you can find somewhere else to work. In addition to those findings, we have had 2 jobs which have not completed their weekly toolbox talks. Remember, these are proof you're doing ongoing training with your crew. It's also a very good way to avoid unnecessary incidents and accidents on your job site. Lastly, we had a new startup job which did not have an SDS, nor did they have their emergency action plan completed. For our construction sites, you must have both of these on site and completed within the first week on which we have workers working on that job. Again, this is an OSHA requirement. And these both help our workers keep informed of the hazards on the job and the hazards of the chemicals we ask them to use. Make certain you have these available, guys. Now, our average driver score went up from 96.8 to 97.1. That's actually a pretty significant jump, as you can see, and it actually looks pretty good. Keep this work up, and I'm telling you, we're going to continue to have good year when it comes to driving. Matter of fact, the main driver for the improvement on the driver score, as you can see, is a continued improvement in our moderate speeding. That's the 6 to 10 miles per hour over the posted speed limit zone. That's where most of our improvement is. It dropped just last month from 0.8 to 0.65. That's amazing. Keep it up. Again, that's how we don't have vehicle accidents, guys. Keep it up. Good job. Now, I did not give out the third quarter driver awards because I was out recovering from surgery, but we need to recognize these drivers for their quality skills. Remember, the top 3 places in each group received $300, $200, and $100 in gift cards, respectively. For our short distance driving for the third quarter, first place goes to Jason Reeves, second place to Craig Baker, and third place to Jason Gladden. For our medium distance driving, first place is for Abimael, second place is for Dennis Douglas, and third place is for Jim Horton. And for our long distance driving for the third quarter, first place is Rudy Aguilar, second place is Nathan Young, and third place is David Burdew. Let's make certain that we congratulate these guys. I'm certain they'll enjoy a little bit of extra money for Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. Congratulations, guys, and keep up the outstanding driving. Now, we discussed a couple of months ago the importance of the hierarchy of controls. If you remember, there are 5 hierarchy of controls. The best one is elimination. That's where you physically remove the hazard, kind of like building a guardrail to eliminate a fall hazard on a job site. Number 4 is substitution, which is basically using a different tool or a different chemical or a different method to eliminate or create a less hazard than you originally had. Number 3 is engineering controls. This is where we isolate our workers from known hazards. A good example is we were working on a job where the GC came to let us know that we needed to move our workers out of a specific area because they were moving a portion of the support in the middle of the building, so we had to move out of the area. So since we eliminated the hazard by moving our guys away from the hazard. The 4th control is administrative controls. This is where the company changes its policies to keep workers from a hazard. A good example is Venture implemented the policy of we will use all mechanical means available to avoid moving heavy materials. This was an administrative control to help us reduce body injuries, backaches, etc., and improve our efficiency and continue to work. The last control, which is also the least effective control, is PPE, personal protective equipment. The reason PPE is so ineffective is because PPE requires the end user, you guys, you, me, us, to get the PPE, to maintain the PPE, and of course, to wear the PPE when necessary. If you remember, we had 6 workers not using glasses and gloves while they knew there was a hazard present. That is why PPE is ineffective, and it's why it's the last of your hierarchy controls. PPE is any safety equipment you wear to prevent injuries while at work. OSHA says Venture must provide the PPE, but it also says the user must maintain the PPE. And Venture also must train you how to care for, wear, and properly store your PPE. Just for the record, fall protection is a form of personal protective equipment, but we're not going to cover fall protection today simply because it really requires a whole lot of additional information to understand when to use what type of fall protection. So we're just not going to cover it today. Every 3 years, at a minimum, the safety director has to do a hazard assessment of the tasks which Venture performs and identify the hazards associated with each of those tasks. Afterward, the safety director determines which of those tasks require PPE and which type of PPE. If we change our work practices, say we start building our own scaffold, then I must perform a hazard assessment on those tasks and determine the proper PPE needed to perform those tasks safely. And then every 3 years thereafter, I would have to perform another hazard assessment. You can see the hazard assessments in my office at any time for any of the tasks which Venture asks you to perform. Now, there are a wide variety of PPE, but the ones that we're going to cover today are going to be those that cover your head, your eyes, your face, your hands, your feet, your body, your hearing, and your respiratory system. Plain and simple, that pretty much covers everything that you may or may not have injured just kind of walking across a job site. Head protection just means a hard hat. If there's a likely chance that something may fall or fly and strike a worker, then a hard hat is required. It is also required when just bumping your head is highly likely. So, say if we ask you to go walking through a low ceiling tunnel, we may also require you to wear a hard hat so that you do not accidentally strike your head while you're walking through that tunnel. Now, there are many types of hard hats. Some are designed for top of hard hat impact, some are for sidewall impact. Not to mention some are designed for electrical workers and some for everyday construction workers. Venture uses the Class C Type 2 full brim hard hat. We do have some job sites that are wanting to move to the safety helmet head protection. I have not included those on here because it's not a requirement just yet, but it does seem like some of our GCs will be moving to that requirement pretty soon. Venture may actually look at moving to the hard hat or safety helmets as our primary or at least as a available head protection. For the record, if you are putting on or taking off any PPE, the proper technical word or description is donning and doffing your protection. Donning is putting it on, doffing is taking it off. Hard hat protection is effective only if you adjust the hard hat to fit your head properly and is worn squarely and at the top of your head. Lacerations and cuts have occurred from light blows and of course from heavy blows if a hard hat is not worn in the proper position. Always, always, always wear your hard hat with the bill facing forward. That's where the logo is, just in case you were wondering. Of course, we have to take care of our hard hats. Each day before you put it on, you should be looking for any cracks, damaged suspension, or chalky appearance. Chalky appearance is caused by UV damage. Your hard hat is just plastic. If it sits out in the sun for a long period of time, it will become chalky and brittle, which means we need to replace it. You should replace your hard hat as necessary. Typically, your hard hat's going to last about 4 years. Your suspension is not going to last that long. If you need a new suspension because the protection for your forehead or any of those things are cracked or falling apart, let me know. I can get you a replacement suspension. Understand this, your hard hat is top shelf dishwasher safe. So if you want to clean it up, you can do so. Do not run it through the dry cycle though, just simply through the wash cycle. Eye protection, or eye PPE, is really simply safety goggles and safety glasses. If you are working around anything where you may have flying particles, flying dust, heavy dust, you're dealing with tools or impacts that can cause things to fly up or towards your face, then eye protection is required. The type of safety glasses Venture provides, both the shaded and clear lenses, are non-prescription safety glasses. If you wear prescription glasses, they should be safety rated to the ANSI Z87.1 standard. If you do not wear prescription safety glasses, then you should wear safety glass covers, much like the guy in the lower right picture, that will actually cover over your glasses. This will provide protection both to your glasses as well as to your eyes. Remember this, all eye protection must meet ANSI Z87.1 standards. Of course, there are other types of eye protection, such as goggles for chemical, laser, or welding hazards. Goggles are designed to surround the entire eye and protect the impact, dust, splashes, or other harmful lights from getting into the eye from any direction. Bottom line is, if you're not certain that it's just going to have a direct impact, like where a safety glass is, your goggles are going to be better, especially when you're dealing with liquids or chemicals. To keep your eyes safe, Venture policy states you must always have safety glasses in your possession, and they must be worn when your eyes are in harm's way. Be sure to inspect your glasses for cracks, scratches, loose screws, and other damage before each use. Ask for replacement when yours are no longer serviceable, and make certain that you're storing them in a safe, clean location. In other words, not in the floorboard of your work truck. Put them in your seat next to you, or get you some of the visor clips where you can hang it from the visor above. Take care of your safety glasses, and they will take care of you.
I'm Alex with GME Supply. Eye protection. You might call them safety glasses. We covered them before. We discussed lens color, we discussed what each is designed for, we even did some fitting videos. You can click right there to see the complete playlist. In this video, we're going to go over what makes safety glasses safe, the standards that make them suitable for the job site, and what kind of testing is done, specifically the ANSI Z87.1 standard for eye protection. There are a couple different topics in this ANSI standard, like minimum thickness for lenses, markings, spectacles versus goggles, the list goes on. What we're focusing on in this video is impact resistance. There are 4 different tests in this standard. The lowest level test is a 1-inch steel ball being dropped on the lens from about 50 inches. This is similar to, say, getting hit in the eye with a golf ball thrown from a few feet away. This provides good protection, but doesn't qualify the glasses for use where there may be a hazard of impact. For that type of work, you have to have a pair of glasses that's stamped with the Z87 Plus marking. For that marking, they must pass the following tests. First, a 1/4-inch steel ball is fired at 6 specific locations on the lens at about 150 feet per second, roughly 100 miles an hour. This is similar to being shot in the eye with a BB gun. If your glasses pass this test, you won't shoot your eye out. Second is a high mass impact test with a 17.6 ounce steel missile. That's just over 1 pound or roughly 500 grams. That's also dropped from 50 inches. You can compare this to getting hit in the eye with, say, the end of a shovel or maybe the head of a hammer. Finally, a penetration test. For this, a sharp needle weighing 1.56 ounces is dropped onto the lens from 50 inches. Think of this as an errant dart being thrown into your eye. If during all of these tests no part of the eyewear breaks, fragments, comes detached from the frame, and no other piece of the eyewear breaks apart, it'll earn that Z87 Plus badge. Some glasses, like these Odin Scullers from Ergodyne, also meet military ballistic standards. To pass this test, the eyewear must be able to withstand a 15 caliber round fired at 640 feet per second. roughly 440 miles an hour. Those are some serious specs. You can see all of our eyewear selection, every color, style, and for any application you can imagine over at gmesupply.com.
PPE, or face protection, means face shields, and they really should be worn when there's a potential for physical, chemical, or radiation agents striking the face. One of the most common things we do where a face shield would be required is drilling overhead. You're not always going to catch everything, and there's a good possibility that a piece of cement can bust off while you're drilling and actually fall past the cup and hit you in the face. Obviously, the most common face protection is a good old-fashioned face shield, but there are face shields to protect you while welding, while working with energized electric, and while drilling overhead. Ask for the right face PPE, and Venture will ensure you are protected. The biggest thing to remember for face protection is that it's designed to protect the face, but not necessarily the eyes. So goggles or safety glasses are still required to be worn under most face shields. If it is a formed face shield where goggles and the face shield go together, then safety glasses are not required to be worn underneath it. Wearing extra PPE like a face shield over cover glasses over non-prescription glasses can become very uncomfortable very quickly. So always put these on one at a time and adjust each of them to make certain they fit comfortably. And of course, take these off as soon as you no longer need them for your own comfort. Our hands are how we produce, and they make or break our everyday accomplishments even while we're at home. Do me a favor, take a few seconds and imagine not being able to pick up your children or your grandchildren simply because you didn't wear the appropriate hand protection while performing your work. Guys, we have to wear our PPE. That's how we take care of ourselves. That's how we make certain that we go home at the end of the day to enjoy our time off with our family and our friends. There are a wide variety of hand protections available, and they all depend on what the exact hazards are that you're facing. For instance, here at Venture, most of our workers are faced with laceration hazards due to working with and around sheet metal materials. That is why our #1 glove is a cut and puncture resistant Dyneema glove. But understand, no one glove will protect you from all hand hazards. You must change your gloves to meet your hazards. Venture has welding gloves. We have voltage rated gloves if you're working in an arc environment. And we even have chemical resistant gloves. We do have what you need. And if we don't have what you need, let me know or let your supervisor know what you're facing so that we can decide exactly what you need to keep you safe. Venture policy states you must maintain your gloves in your possession at all times. And it states you must wear your gloves when your hands are in harm's way. If you maintain and care for your gloves, they will last you for a pretty good while, and more importantly, they will protect you from your typical hazards on our job sites. Venture only requires specific foot protection, like safety-toed boots, when working with black pipe. The reason is simple. Black pipe is extremely heavy and very susceptible to rolling and falling, and if it falls, it's going to hit your feet more than likely. Not to mean that regular footwear is not important. Leather work boots with a designed heel will help you safely work on ladders and work through most of the weather conditions, which Venture will ask you to work in. There are a variety of different types of foot protection. OSHA states that Venture does not have to provide this type of protection because each person has their own personal needs, such as size, type, etc., to allow them to work. In addition, you can wear these in non-working conditions, so therefore it's not a work-specific tool. Just remember to wear the protection you need. A good example is if you're working on an extremely muddy site, you might want to purchase and wear some rubber boots. If you're working with black pipe in an extremely muddy site, you might want to purchase and wear some steel-toed rubber boots. There's a lot of things out there that you can use for your protection and for your feet. Just look it up. Just like other PPE, inspecting your foot protection before each use will ensure you catch any changes or deformities in your footwear and allow you to replace them as necessary before it ends up hurting your feet, your legs, or your back. You would not wear or should not wear boots that have a loose sole or have exposed safety protection like the safety toe or protective shield. Most importantly, keep your foot protection in a clean, dry location. Your feet will thank you, and your coworkers will probably thank you too. Body PPE is typically a suit or something similar. It is designed to keep you clean and clear of heat, mud, water, splashes of hot or cold liquids, as well as chemicals, electrical hazards, and radiation hazards, depending on the task. Some examples of body protection are lab coats, welding jackets, arc flash suits, and even Dyneema and Kevlar protective sleeves. We have each of these products and we will provide them as needed depending on the work you're performing. Let safety or your supervisor know if you have needs beyond your basic PPE. We probably have it available. Hearing protection is needed when the 8-hour time-weighted noise level reaches 90 decibels. If the noise level reaches 85 decibels, we must provide hearing protection on the job. Most construction sites do not reach the 85 decibels every day. However, some specific tasks make it very likely to reach the 85 decibels or higher. For example, cutting metal studs inside of a closed room or inside of a closed building is a great example of something that will definitely reach 85 plus decibels. Let your supervisor know if you want or need hearing protection. We have these readily available. Now, there are three main types of hearing protection. Earplugs, these are the most common hearing protection. It's what Venture provides for our employees. Ear muffs, both the wear alone and the hard hat attached, like in the picture in the upper right corner, cover the ears to provide protection. And canal caps, like the bottom picture, are designed to stop higher noise levels. However, they are typically custom designed for each employee. Remember, you can also stack protection to get a higher protective level. For instance, if you wear 15 decibel rated earmuffs and underneath those you put in 15 decibel rated earplugs, then you will have at least 30 decibels of protection from the outside noise. Putting in the standard Venture hearing protection is very simple. Number one, roll the earplug into a small, thin snake shape. Number two, pull the top of your ear to straighten out your ear canal and insert the rolled up earplug with your other hand. And then number three, hold the earplug in place while it expands. You should immediately start hearing a reduction in outside noise. And ultimately, muffling of all exterior sounds should occur. That even includes your own voice. Upon completion, check the fit. Make sure your earplugs will not easily become dislodged. Slightly tug on the earplug end, or maybe if there's a string attachment, just to make certain that it is well seated inside the ear canal. Rolled earplugs are disposable. Throw them away at the end of the day, get you a new set tomorrow. Earmuffs and canal caps are designed to be cleaned and maintained. You should not get the inside of your earmuffs wet. If you do, ensure they are fully dry before you reuse them. And dry the canal caps after washing them. Most custom-made canal caps also have a protective case that you would want to place those back into. The last protective equipment I will cover is respiratory protection, or masks. Obviously, most of you have been wearing masks on and off for the last 2 years. Believe it or not, the N95 paper masks are considered an OSHA-regulated respirator device. That one that you see pictured in the middle at the bottom is a respirator. What this means is you must wear them properly and only when needed for the specific task you are completing. Now, there are nuisance dust masks, like our homemade face masks that we've been wearing for the most part. There are half masks, which cover the lower half of the face from the nose and over the mouth. Full masks, which cover the entire face. And then there are some other types like air purifying or self-contained or apparatuses. Just understand those last two are typically only needed for specific scenarios and tasks, and Venture does not perform any of those tasks. No matter what, if Venture requires you to wear a mask beyond the nuisance dust mask or the mask for COVID purposes, a medical questionnaire and a medical physical from a licensed physician are required, and a proper fit testing of each type of respirator Venture will ask you to use must be completed. All PPE should be well maintained and cleaned when necessary. A mild self-foaming dish soap and warm water is the best cleaning solution for any soft or hard plastic PPE like glasses, goggles, face shields, and even respirator masks. However, some equipment has specific cleaning solutions or specific cleaning instructions from the manufacturer. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. If the PPE is so soiled or damaged that cleaning it cannot restore the equipment to a safe use, then return it to the safety department for replacement. And you should store your PPE to extend its usefulness and its protectiveness. Don't throw the glasses in the floorboard or the bottom of your job box. Keep them clean and safe in the car seat or on the visor clip, like I mentioned earlier. Do not attempt to make any repairs to any PPE unless it is specifically designed to be repaired, such as tightening a screw, or the manufacturer allows specific repairs. Some glasses and respirator masks allow nose piece replacements or eye cup replacements when necessary. Typically, if your PPE is damaged, it will be safest and best if you get your supervisor or safety and let us replace your damaged or defective PPE. Your lead, your superintendent, or even myself in safety usually have PPE available. As many of you know, this year's shipping issues have slowed the arrival of our small safety vests. But typically, we have everything that you may need. No matter what, do not wear, use, or otherwise try to protect yourself with dirty, damaged, or unsafe PPE. Remember, PPE is the last control in the hierarchy of controls because it is the least effective of those controls. PPE only works when you properly wear the equipment. Now we're going to cover 3 quick topics from Mary.
Good morning. Just a few quick updates from the HR department today. As we discussed last month, there's an upcoming due date for your FSA Flexible Spending Account enrollment form. November 30th is the last day that you can turn this form in. But before you do, I have an important update for you. On November 10th this year, the IRS issued some new information that's important to those of you who use our flexible spending account. On that date, they announced that there will be an increase of $100 in the maximum salary deferral contribution. So when we talked about open enrollment last month, we talked about $2,750 being the maximum that you could contribute for the flexible spending account in 2022. However, the IRS changed this, and now they've announced that in 2022, you can defer up to $2,850. So if you haven't already turned your form in, you can refer to this information in completing your form and turning it back in. However, if you have already submitted your enrollment form and you like to up your contribution to that maximum level, we do need you to complete a new form or to edit the form that you've already submitted and initial that portion. If you have any questions about this, please contact me or Kendra immediately so that we can get this taken care of prior to the end of our deadline, November 30th. That update is a good segue into our next topic this morning. I want to make sure that you're staying up to date with what's going on at work. And the best way for you to do that is going to be in the Kronos information bar and in the pop-ups that you see when you log into Kronos. For example, that FSA increase was put on Kronos the day that we found out about it. So the IRS was a little slow in issuing that information this year. And basically what that meant is that people who had already started their open enrollment, like us, needed to update their participants about that change. So where we went to do that was straight into Kronos, into that information bar, and set a pop-up so that every time you log in, you would see that. If you're in the browser, you're going to see the information bar, just like you see at the bottom of this slide. And you see that you can scroll down through that bar and see that there are different information topics. Next to info, it says 3 in parentheses. So we've got 3 things up there right now. So for those of you who use the phone app rather than the browser to view Kronos, you'll notice on this graphic on the left, a pop-up will come up and fill your screen when you first get into the app. So this shows you here what the title of the announcement is, the text that you'll need to read. There's the option to hit the little paperclip and download that item, and then next. So if there's another announcement at the same time, you'll see that blue next button at the bottom. So make sure that you're scrolling all the way through here so that you see every announcement that's posted at the time that you log in. So again, you have the option to look in the info bar in your browser, the pop-ups after you log in, and then if there's something that you missed that's not popping up anymore, but you know you've seen it, you can always go to My Company and look at Documents. Under the Documents heading, we have everything posted that you might need as far as plan documents, enrollment forms, items that we've previously addressed. Those all live on the Documents folder in Kronos. So if you need that information, you can access that at any time of day. If there's something you can't find, you can always contact me or Kendra and we'll help you locate it. If you haven't looked at those announcements lately, there's a number of things that we've put up this month that are very important for you to take a look at. The first is that FSA enrollment info that I've already talked about. The next is information on OSHA's emergency temporary standard on COVID-19 vaccination and testing. The information provided in this memo is based on the current OSHA guidance that was issued on November 5th. You may be aware that the emergency temporary standard is currently on hold due to legal challenges. Once the courts have issued their determinations, we will update you and adjust our policies as needed. In addition to that, we've also posted a veteran recognition survey. As you know, it was Veterans Day last week, and we took some time to honor our veterans, but we'd like to know more about the veterans that work for us. If you're a veteran and you'd like to be recognized in the future, we'd love for you to fill out this survey and tell us a little bit more about your service to our country. That's in the info bar and that's in the pop-up, and we'll leave that up for a little while so that you have the time to take that survey so that we can honor you in the future and thank you for all that you've done. We've reached that time of year where we stop and take a moment to do a little bit of education on our 401k retirement plan through Principal. Most of you know how to log into Principal.com and take a look at your account balance or change your contribution. But Principal has a lot more to offer than that, so we're going to let them tell us a little bit today about their Milestones programs. Just a quick note on this. The presentation will tell you to stop and log in before they continue. Don't do that. Just keep listening. You're good to go.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking a few minutes to join me today. My name is Jose Luis Montiel. I'm with Principal Financial Group. Today we're going to talk about financial priorities and finding the right balance. We understand there's a lot to think about when it comes to your finances, both now and later. It can be difficult to know where to start. Don't worry about that. With the right knowledge, you can live well today and plan well for tomorrow. Before we start, please go to principal.com/I'm here to sign into this meeting. If you're like most people, you may have a difficult time balancing the financial priorities you have today, like paying off student loans or building an emergency fund, with the goals you'll have for the future, like saving for retirement or saving for your kids' education. Wouldn't it be nice to know you're not alone? That there are easy-to-use resources out there that can help you make sense of your priorities and what you might want to do? Well, that's why we team with the experts at AROG, an industry leader in legal insurance, and Enrich, a financial education platform, to create Principal Milestones. Principal Milestones brings together resources from AROG, Enrich, and Principal to help you make more informed decisions with financial tools and resources in one convenient place. With Enrich, you can learn how to pay off student loans, build a budget, downsize debt, understand your credit score, prepare to buy a home, and more. AROG helps you prepare your own legal documents, including a will at no cost. And as always with Principal, we're here to help you save for retirement. In addition to learning about financial topics and getting helpful tips, you can also use interactive resources, worksheets, and calculators to put your plans into action. From learning how to balance your budget and repay student loans, to understanding your credit score and saving for healthcare costs and retirement, and everything in between, Principal Milestones can help you plan for today and plan for tomorrow. You can watch webinars about topics that interest you, access interactive worksheets, prepare and sign legal documents, such as a will. You can read articles with helpful tips, take quick, interactive online courses on different financial subjects, and that's just the start. Learning more about financial topics is a good first step to becoming more confident in making financial decisions. Here's how it works. Let's say you have student loan debt. Don't worry, a lot of people do. Now let's say you're interested in learning how to pay that down. Resources on student loans from Enrich can help. Visit principal.com/milestones and then visit Enrich to sign in and watch a short video about 3 steps to student loan repayment. Then you can link your loans to view them all in one place, track and compare your repayment options. Want another example of how you may use Principal Milestones? Maybe you struggle with sticking to a budget, and maybe it's impacting your ability to save for the future. Well, you're not alone. Just log into principal.com/milestones and watch a Principal webinar called 5 Steps to a Better Budget. Then head over to Enrich, fill out the interactive budgeting worksheet that'll help you monitor your expenses and goals. You can even add goals and track your progress to see how well you're doing. Here's one last example of how Principal Milestones can help you cross another thing off your to-do list. Did you know that 26% of Americans have a complete up-to-date will? We know it can feel overwhelming to find an attorney and go through the process. But with Principal Milestones, you can access the AROG site Document Center to prepare a will in a matter of minutes at no cost to you. So how do you find the tools and resources that are right for you? It's easy. We'll help. Principal Milestones is full of helpful tips on hundreds of financial topics. We can help you find what's right for you. Just make sure your account on Principal.com has a current email address. That way you'll get monthly emails that include financial wellness tips and highlight resources available to you. You'll also be given the option to tell us which financial topics you're interested in learning more about. Once you've shared your interests, we'll personalize your emails and include action items on the topics you've chosen. whether it's downsizing debt now, planning for your child's education in the future, buying a home, or any other topic. We know life is pulling you in 1,000 directions, so with Principal Milestones, you'll be able to take the small steps to improve your financial confidence whenever it's convenient for you. And don't forget, we're continually updating the program with more topics and resources to help you live your best life. So when you become confident about one topic, you can move on to the next. Ready to get started? Or want to know a little more? Great. Just visit principal.com/milestones and you're on your way. See? We told you it'd be easy. Now you've got the tools and resources to plan for today and tomorrow, and we're here to help. Connect with us on Facebook and Twitter, or if you'd rather talk to a real person, call us at 1-800-547-7754, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
That's all I have for HR topics this month. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me or Kendra via phone, text, or email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving next week and enjoy the time with your friends and family.
Okay. Before we go, be sure to turn in your weekly toolbox talks. Be sure to complete your bi-weekly vehicle inspections inside the Samsara driver app, and turn in any unused fall protection and fire extinguishers. Last but not least, we are planning a modified in-person safety breakfast. The details will be forthcoming via email and Flock. Have a very safe, happy Thanksgiving, and we will see most of you in person in about 3 weeks. Now, I told you starting this month, we will require you to take an attendance quiz after each video. This is to ensure you are paying attention to the content. This quiz is a simple 5 multiple guess questions. You have to answer your personal information such as email, name, phone number, or employee number, and then answer the questions. The quiz link is included in the email that I sent with this video link. If you have any questions about the attendance quiz, please contact Kendra Jones. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, and have a safe, happy Thanksgiving.